Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Azagite here, bringing to you another video for Conqueror's Blade published by Porus Interactive. This will be a very big or long video as we have the Silla season being released on the same day that this video will go up. So, heading straight into it, we have the Silla season update log. I probably won't read everything again. I tried to avoid just reading everything so you guys just get bored. If you guys want to read things for yourself, I will put the links in the description below. And of course, you can always just pause the video and read them. Hopefully my big fat head doesn't get in the way. So we have the seasonal unit 3-star, the Silla Guards. Probably already seen all of these before, but just so you know, it is polearm infantry, it has a shield throw, and it has spear slam, a special shield mechanic as well, where they'll have a shield for a set amount of damage, and then it will break. Otherwise, you can just automatically destroy it by using the shield throw. The spear slam itself, pretty generic. But once you get rid of the shield, it gets upgraded, so it will trigger twice. So the 4-star Tiger Fist got a little bit of background, a little bit of combat styles, characteristics. Another thing to note is that they should be immune to the disarm disarmed effect by disruptors such as the Onimusha and the Orochi Samurais. So, of course, these guys are the bare knuckles, well, bare fist brawlers, to say the least. They're basically better berserkers, and their skill 1 is Courageous Charge, short range charge, smashes straight in, unblockable, and apparently CC immune. We have skill 2, Tiger's Fury. It's basically an attack combo. Um, does a pretty good amount of damage. It says 2-round combo, punch combo, but it's a set. It's they are able to trigger it up to 2 times, is what they're saying. And then we have the third skill 3, Mighty Slap. Pretty hilarious how far units fly. This is most commonly seen now as an upgraded throw, similar to kind of like, or basically taken as the Spartan Kick. Though the Spartan Kick does have an additional effect where it turns an initial target into a projectile that will knock down other targets that it collides with. Of course, not allies. And then for our 5-star, the Hrangs, the tier 5 bow units. Very interesting mechanic. It's got heroic bloodshed. After getting such and such kills, it will gain a little bit of piercing damage. Bonus to their piercing damage. I think it's around about 25%. Not technically the 25% is a lot, but the actual performance of the unit is still pretty low. This is really seen when it comes to penetration. High armor units will just basically ignore these guys. But nevertheless, after the heroic bloodshed is fully charged as well, you have to get either hero kills, unit kills, sorry, hero kills or assists, um, unit kills, or allied heroes' deaths have to be nearby, of course. Of course, when the heroic bloodshed is maxed out, their skills evolve. They have flying petals, really bullshit skill right now because last time I saw, it's unblockable, aims for the head. So not not only does this unit automatically tries to get the 2 times bonus when aiming for the head, no shield unit can block their arrows for about 7 or 10 seconds, depending on like a couple of other things. Of course, when the another thing to note is that 20% of the damage is a heal to them, and when it's upgraded to the enhanced form, if they are at max health, it will be converted into a shield. So there is that, but there is a maximum limit to the shield. I'm guessing around about 50%. So we'll see where that goes. with the second skill is wind step, a really cool backflip or front flip kind of maneuver skill where they will shoot. I do think it has its own kind of aiming thing, but since they do it, since they backflip or front flip twice, it does become a little bit janky as it aims at targets incorrectly or tries to aim at their feet. So that's another important thing. But besides all that, once it is enhanced, you get two charges and the charge rates are like half the amount. So my goodness, like the you can you're backflipping a lot. Though I wouldn't say that the wind step nor the flying pedals increase their DPS by very much, if not at all. So you will end up just shooting for the most part. Flying pedals obviously being really good against shield units. Wind step, I'm really not feeling it because of a little bit janky. It's kind of cool in a sense that um, they are just moving around the battlefield by flipping. So whether or not it's actually effective is just another question. A lot of times people can just chase after you, get on top of you, smack you. So I'm really hoping to see archers kind of be brought back to the front line, be kind of more important, where instead of sitting back and just being a million miles away, these guys could technically be a little bit closer. We got the Feather Crossbowmen obviously being like really strong when their ability activates, having basically 10,000 health, but the duration is very short, and once I go back to that 4K, people will just start one-shotting them again. So these guys are probably one of the tankier ranged units, so this healing ability should allow them to be quite useful or be a little bit more aggressive than you would think they would be. But that being said, they are still range. They'll get completely destroyed if anything gets on top of them. Their health is nothing amazing. It's a little bit tankier than normal, but again, 4,000 health is not a lot of health. I'm pretty sure most units will deal almost enough damage to one-shot those guys. Obviously, we got a very nice attire for our pass zero battle pass level 0, the Snowbloom Air, the Sage Monarch as our 100 pass unlock. Yeah, white on land, blades in snow, and true rulers read the world in dewdrops. I don't know where those sayings come from, whether or not it's a translation thing, but continuing on, we have the Sage Monarch helmet can be further upgraded. Oh my goodness. Warlords who obtain the Sage Monarch can unlock higher tier versions of the Sage Monarch through the customization system upgrade process. Open the P character, click personalize, select Sage Monarch helmet under the helmet category, and click the variations button to upgrade the helmet. Helmet tiers. Sage Monarch helmet has 3 tiers, with the Battle Pass level 100 reward being the first tier helmet. When you permanently unlock all Silla season units, you can upgrade the first tier Sage Monarch helmet to the second tier Sage Monarch helmet Celestial. Once you obtain the second tier helmet, they can use sovereigns to upgrade it to the third tier Sage Monarch helmet Solar Crown, which has exclusive visual effects. You can see it in the gift here. So pretty generic looking helmet. Then it gets this kind of um, tree thing, and then the visual effects. I'll be honest, I much prefer the first version, mostly because it's pretty ridiculous when you get a helmet that tall and it just feels like you're compensating for something. But regardless, we have during the Silla season, the season vault will feature the return of Dragon Rise season attires. You can redeem these attires at 20% discount. Those are the discounts. Of course, you get the Dragon Rise attires being the sealed version, so we're gonna get them as a different color. And I actually didn't show this from the PTR, which is really hilarious because I feel like I should have shown this off. But nevertheless, we'll be able to see this in game shortly, so don't worry. If you like the color, okay, you can spend your blades to pick it up. Oh, and of course, the Camelot, the Camelot sealed attires. So the Avalon season stuff will be shifted, will be moved out and not on discount anymore. So the main attires, such as the unit and the hero attires, will still be around. The weapons will be removed from the shop, but we will get to see, and Nightfall, the Nightfall season's attires are also going to be out of the shop. So there's that. Now we also have the World Update. On the first Saturday of the new season, March 22nd, all servers except Biantan uh, Huziao. Okay, I'm just going to butcher names here. Those three servers will replace the originally scheduled territory wars with a military drill. So if you're not those servers, you don't have drill for the first one. On the first Saturday and Tuesday of the new season, March 22nd and March 25th, the servers, those ones, will cancel the originally scheduled territory war. Oh, okay. So first Saturday, if you're not those three seasons, you will have military drill. First Saturday and Tuesday of the new seasons, if you are these three servers, you will not have territorial war at all, if I'm reading that correctly. Adjustment to Fief War Declaration conditions. This season, War Declaration requirements for certain seats have been adjusted to ensure fairness of territorial wars declaration while minimizing the impact on strategic planning of alliances/houses. The following requirements have been added to the existing war declaration rules. Declaring war on a city requires house prestige is greater than or equal to 150. Declaring war on a fort requires house prestige is greater than or equal to 200. Declaring war on a village has no prestige requirement. The default garrison size for level 1 villages in Territory War has been reduced this season. Yep, I think the garrison size should be dependent on the number of kits inside the fief. It would be a really cool system to get some open world crafting done again, but nevertheless, however they want to do these things is just better because combat against PvE things just kind of makes up the monotony. Also, of course, it just feels great when you're just mowing down hundreds of units. Adjustment to house level requirements for declaring war. The required house level for declaring war in the following territorial war city strongholds have been adjusted from level 3 to level 4. Okay, all of those status, again, you can read them if you want to. I'm not going to read them out because honestly, I don't even know where these places are for the most part. I can kind of remember the location if you like jog my memory a bit, but again, territorial war is not something that I focus too much on. But again, these are not entirely important unless you're trying to get a foothold on a couple of these fiefs early on. But to get to level 3 is pretty easy within the time frame of the Saturday. To get to level 4, I mean, like if you have a house of 100 people, to get to level 4, however, um, that's pretty difficult. I think I don't think anyone can reach level 4 by Saturday because it's literally just 3 days. Anyway, we have World Campaign APAC. So these servers are going to be in. Okay, so our servers, Lotus Ash Sea, Dragon Rise Island, Jade Rock Creek is going to have Osteria, Angverja, and Anatolo. Sage Blade, Khan of Heaven, Aurora Ridge, Angverja only, Hades Gate, Dat Liang Yun. EU/AMS, you have Crystal Sea and Elysium Peak having the same three. So these probably are growth servers. These two are probably your growth servers, having Conversia, and your brand new servers being Liangyun. Phase 1 Rising of Heroes. So the duration is the 20th of March to the 31st of March. Very short time. So this will be 3-star and below. Equipment set attributes are disabled. Forge bonuses attributes are disabled. Obviously, the auxiliary pool will be 3-star and below. You get 6 points. Total war related content. APAC warlords from. Um, okay, by the looks of it, Osteria and Anecdotal will be open straight away for APAC 3 main servers. So the growth servers are going to go for the Young Virtual one and the Young Yun. We got EU and AMS warlords having the Osteria and the Anecdotal areas again open. So we're going to so the capital is going to be on in Angverja. I think it's Tulavaros. Oh no, Osteria is Tulavaros, and it will be Angolia in Angverja on Verija. The warlords and Liang Yun should be. Come on. Did we not just have it? Not Daisel. Daishin? I think it's Daishin. Or is it the other one? Yeah, don't quote me on like the capitals here. So our phase 2 Eve of Turmoil, 31st of March to the 14th of April, 4-star and below. Set attributes are enabled. Forge attributes are disabled still. Auxiliary stuff is 4-star below, 6 points. All 3 will open, and EU/AMS will be the same. All is Chaos goes from 14th of April to the 5th of the 5th, which should be May. My goodness. 5-star and below, so set bonuses and forge bonuses are both enabled. The auxiliary is 5-star and below. Points, auxiliary points are 6, and Usurp the Throne goes from 5th of May to 19th of May. 5-star and below, set and forge bonuses are enabled. 5-star and below, 6 points. So we got some territory war related content, APAC. Um, so this will be the primary. Oh, hang on. This will be interesting. So Mongolia and Reginopolis will be open in Usurp the Throne. Warlords from Sageblade, Khan of the Heaven, blah 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 blah. Tulavaris for those servers, and Daishen for for the newbie servers, and it is the same structure for the EU/AMS. Then we have the Kings of Kings, so this should be the main one, which is interesting because I think I flipped around Angverja and Ostaria. Oh, that's really interesting. Angverja's the one at the top. Ostaria's the one at the bottom, and then okay, never mind that. Anyway, again, Kings of Kings, just everything's open, and the main capital does look like it's going to be Tulavaris by the looks of it. So forget what I said earlier. So you guys are going to be fighting for Tulavaris. Good luck with that one. I hate Tulavaris. It's like Angolia is much better to attack compared to Tulavaris. Um, like it's got a really annoying it's got a really annoying setup for the last spot and the gate. But like Angolia is also just really terrible as well because it's not nice to attack either. Tulavaras feels like a small map, while Mongolia feels like it could have 30 people on the map and it will still feel huge. Seasons challenges. Silla guards complete 6 out of the 8 tasks per stage. Unlocks at March after maintenance, so straight away. First stage rewards is 3-day unit trial. Second stage rewards is permanent unit. Third stage is the unit exclusive rare doctrine Silla Guards Royal Escort reduce Spear Slam cooldown by 5 seconds. Fourth stage is the unit cartoon avatar. I think that's pretty cool. I think it would have been better if they went with a blue color, since like they got a lot of bluish stuff on the units as it is. So it probably would have been better if it looked blue. But regardless, I do think the Silla Guards just look way too armored to like be just a tier 3. I feel like tier 3 is the kind of semi regular. Tiger Fist complete 8 out of the 10 tasks per stage. It unlocks at March 31st, 2025 at 12 UTC plus 8. First stage is 3 days unit trial. Second stage is unit medal times 120. Third stage is permanent unit. Fourth stage is the unit exclusive epic doctrine. Doctrine. I don't know why they put doctrine there. Tiger Fist Dread Roar. Tiger's Fist reduces enemy units damage by 15% for 5 seconds. It would have been cool, like, if activating Tiger's Fury would reduce everyone's damage around them by 15%. And then, of course, fifth stage is the unit cartoon avatar. The Horangs complete 10 out of the 12 tasks per stage. Unlocks on April 14th, 2025, noon UTC plus 8. You got the 3 days, then the rare exclusive, the Hrang's Plucked Blossoms, reduces flying petal cooldown by 2. Interesting. I thought this did something else. Unit medal times 120. Fourth stage is permanent unit. Doctrine Spirit for the season limited. So for only this season, the tier 5 fifth stage will give you the Doctrine Spirit and also the unit medal times 200. Sixth stage, you get the unit exclusive Epic Doctrine Harang Fallen Petals, restores 3% ammo upon each enemy unit killed, and you get the unit cartoon avatar for stage 7. Not going to read this out, but I am going to go over the really important one. So, for the helmet one, we got four really annoying mechanics that we're going to see a lot, I presume. So, each of them have the generic reduced unit damage taken by 5%, but they all have death effects. So for the Bloody Rain, upon death, deal damage equal to 30% of the enemy's current health to up to 10 nearby enemy units. Costs 3 rune power. Storm Hoof, upon death, deal damage and knockback nearby enemies. Costs 3 rune power. Venom Claw, upon death, inflict poison on nearby enemy units, dealing 0.2% of their maximum health per second, increasing by 0.2% per second for 20 seconds. If the enemy leaves the affected area, the effect is immediately removed. Crimson Gaze, upon death, inflict burning on nearby enemy units, dealing 3% of their max health per second while accumulating burning value for 10 seconds. If the enemy leaves the affected area, the effect is immediately removed. Costs 3 rune power. Do note that the Crimson Gaze one is a burning effect, which is reduced by the fireproof or related unit traits. So I do think the poison one is going to be the most reliable one. I do think the rest of them are going to be a little bit finicky, but they're all on death effects, so when your hero dies, you're going to leave a little bit of pain for the enemy. And of course, doesn't look like any of these things are going to be too scary to deal with, but it will hurt. That's the most important part. Now, for the armor piece, there is two things that we should watch out for, and that is the Winged Havoc. Javelin throw skills of Javelin Infantry deals 15% more damage to Tower Shield units, costs 3 rune power. Again, I don't like how it specifies Tower Shield units. It really should just be very generic and shouldn't really focus on countering a particular unit. Moving on, we have Phantom Rush. After a charge, Lance Cavalry take 10% less damage for 15 seconds, costs 3 rune power. Really good. Again, like 10% less damage for 15 seconds. Pretty good buff. Both of these effects are both of these effects for me I feel like are cool. It gives this kind of commander-esque um commander-esque kind of side progression where instead of making yourself stronger, you make your unit stronger. And these effects are pretty are are very very powerful. So I do think we should watch out to see if people are going to definitely abuse these ones. There is another set of two actually. Um, for the bracers, Piercing Fang. Javelin infantry attacks deal an additional 200 block damage to units. Again, like when it was 1,000, I don't think anyone wouldn't have realized that 1,000 was a little bit ridiculous. But 200 block damage relatively is basically the same as the Doctrine. But yeah, it's still kind of funny that like that happened. And where did they put the last one? Ooh, are we missing it? Does look like we're missing it. Nope, there it is. So it's in boots. So that's very interesting. So um, oh, and another change for this one is increase heroes maximum health by 1500. When health is below 30%, reduce damage taken from units by 20%. Um, I think that's going to be really good for Nadachi. I don't know why they decided to have that something like that. Longsword will probably love this as well. But the other difference is the Gale Stride. Reduces the charger's amplification interval from 1.5 seconds to 0.5 seconds. Cool. Costs 3 rune power. Short range charges, maximum effect. I think that's going to be pretty scary. And Lance Cavalry kind of are taking a back seat ever since the Yan Yudals kind of showed up. I'm not going to say that the Zhuangzi Heavy Cavalry are Lance Cavalry because they're definitely special. And I kind of like to see other cavalry see day again. We've seen specials go out of control. We've seen the companion cavalries, but sometimes going back to good old, good old, good old reliable feels like feels like CB is kind of just returning back to what it was, though we still have to live with all of the stuff that they've added. But besides all that, I don't think I don't think it's a bad idea to have unit related buffs for the rune system. It's kind of cool. It's just really unoptimized because you will get singular warbands, possibly. Because I can imagine someone just comes out with 3 Lance Cavalries or 3 Javelins just because you can make use of the buffs this way. Nevertheless, the on-death effects are probably going to be more annoying than fun. We have the weapon runes now. I'm pretty sure all of this is the same. We get to, I think we get to, well, same, 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 same. Returning, sorry. The Yang Metal normal attacks are now Grape Shot is returning. Same, same, same. Short bow, here we go. Short bow has two new ones, I think. So the Plague Arrow is markers and explosions now can spread up to 5 nearby targets. The bleed damage from spreading is reduced by 50% and is not affected by the Desert Warrior set bonus, costs 3 rune powers. I do think that Hunt of Hercules was something that we got before, but this one should have been changed from the original Animus of Chronos. Maybe I'm imagining things, but each stack of enhanced attack now increases piercing damage by 4.5 and speed by 4.5. But the maximum number of stacks is reduced to 5, and duration is increased by 2 seconds, costs 2 rune power. So essentially, instead of getting 1.5 per stack and you stack it up, I think it's 20 times or something, they now give you 6% stacking up to 5 times. So you get the bonus way quicker. So you're doing your, so your startup is way shorter by like three quarters. So in a quarter of the time that you used to before, you're getting maximum output. I think this is not terrible. I think the idea that like gaining more powers with each hit, it's a cool idea. Unfortunately, if anything blocks you or you just can't hit anything, it's just really annoying to have dropped off after stacking for 30 times. So getting your power quicker, getting hitting that damage threshold faster, where you become dangerous. Um, I think short bows will definitely love this rune, no doubt about it. Shame. No changes for the rest of them, just the short bow getting changes. We have the season same shop. I'm pretty sure it's just going to be a repeat. If you guys want to have a look at this, the link will be down below, or you could pause the video. Strangely enough, we have system optimization added Korean hero voice lines. Interesting. It's funny that the trailer that we got to see on the thing wasn't in Korean. I really think it would have been so much better if it was like the Sengoku one, where the Sengoku one was in Japanese, but the Korean one having English. It's not like the most detrimental thing, but it would have been way better if they could have had like Korean voice lines or like the narrator speaking in Korean. Item lock. To help warlords prevent the accidental salvaging and loss of high value item, a new item lock feature has been added. Armor, weapons, and doctrines in the inventory can now be locked. Locked armor and weapons cannot be salvaged, reforged, listed on the market, sold, discarded, or donated. To perform these actions, the item must first be unlocked in the inventory. Locked doctrines cannot be upgraded, equipped, salvaged, or forged. They must be unlocked in the inventory or current interface before proceeding. Bot AI optimization. Optimize bot heroes' behavior when defending walls. They will now attempt to kick down siege ladders. Optimize bot heroes' roll logic when stuck in corners. They will now assess the surrounding terrain and adjust their combat behavior accordingly instead of repeatedly trying to roll into the wall, they mean. Optimize bot units' group movement logic during combat, making them more aware of formations. That would be really cool to see if the bots started making formations. Like you had the shields at the front, and then you had someone with the pikes coming up behind. I mean, CB has so much potential. Unfortunately, they boil it down because their gameplay or the designers of the gameplay don't fundamentally want a simulated battle. They just want a game at this point. And we can kind of blame the players for this because just like what's the best unit to use? A unit that literally just clobbers up everyone really fast and that can't be killed. Territory War Report rewards enriched. Okay, so this is kind of like Territory War related stuff, but I do understand this more or less. So basically, um, when you do territory wars, you get a bonus depending on what your performance. So you get a bunch of report scores, and these are the the currency you get for territory wars. So all of them are getting buffed, especially at the low levels. Um, so yeah, there's that. Oh man, so much to go through. Balance adjustments. Now we're probably gonna go through a repeat here, but I actually don't know, or they added in a lot of information that was not present on the PTR. And that's kind of cool that we get more information, but the relevance of this is a bit shaky. Alrighty, we have Cicada, the Machiaris. Cicada Lunge is going to reduce damage taken by 65% for 3 seconds. The 2 Cicada Stab deals an additional 1500 damage to bucklers and tower shield units. Cicada Stab grants 2 seconds of immunity after a brief delay. What they mean is, for that last part, is that it's only for the backflip. And the thing here as well is that the backflip is not exclusive for this immunity. What it means is that the buff is 2 seconds and it's not tied to the backflip itself. So they get a buff when they try to do a backflip, which you can cancel out of and do a leap. And I've done that, and does seem like if you're facing stuff that has block, better off to start off with Cicada Turret, then go into Cicada Lunge. But I can see how they want this to go. They want you to go Cicada Lunge, backflip, or cancel into Cicada Turret because that's just kind of how I feel like it should work. Though the jump attack is just really powerful, and you're really trying to burst down things a lot. So getting that getting that block break into the stab just works out way better because if you get the block break, they deal twice as much damage, and if you just do the lunge by itself, it ignores the block, so you're not doing any block break. So you do basic damage, and then you try to block break them then, and it's just like, wow, what a waste. Anyway, we're on to the Cicada Torrent. Jump attack block break value increased from 250 to 660. I didn't realize it was that low. I thought it was higher than that. I do know that some buckler units were able to withstand it. Now with it being 660, it's no chance in hell that generic buckler units are going to be able to block this. Shield units will still be able to be pretty good at blocking this, um, just from like a general number kind of thing. But yeah, that's all I can say about it. Moving on to the Cudgel Monk's six-way staff. Now blocks enemy attacks while spinning the staff. Damage increased by 38%. Block rate value increased from 100, 150, 200 to 200, 300, and 400. They doubled the values. I don't know what each separate value means. It could be in reference to the multiple different animations or stages of the attack. So it's kind of really hard where to pin these numbers, but we know it's on the six-way staff attack, and it is not on the windmill strike that follows after the six-way staff. Maybe, unless they coded it differently. Um, I do think the casual monks are going to be kind of like the ones that are seen the most out of the four that kind of got buffed. I do think the Ronins might actually be a bit scary, but the Damachi Yetis, I feel like they need a lot of work still, though. Don't underestimate them. They're pretty good against the other specials, and except for the Ronins just CC them into oblivion, so that's just them being unfair. Ronins now. Charge reduces range damage taken by 80% during charge. Generic. And I think it's kind of dumb that it's only against range attacks. So they want you to throw Ronins at ranged units, but it's just like, why? Yato's Strike can knock down enemy units. Fixed an issue where the effect of the inner growth final node did not match its description. The effect has been adjusted from reducing cooldown by 0.3 seconds per kill to reducing cooldown by 1 per kill. Now, this is massive because I probably explained this before. The innate cooldown reduction is 0.5, probably. Don't quote me on that. But a 0.3, eh, it has either a 7 or a 9-second base kind of cooldown. You needed to kill probably 12, maybe 8 units. And that's the big thing. With this, theoretically, you need to kill 4 units. Wow, that is a big change from needing somewhere around 10 odd to 4 in order to just to strike again. The big thing here as well is that they didn't go through with changing it to a knockback, so we're gonna have to check if that is still a sure thing, whether it's gonna be a knockdown. Because I think that if it's a knockdown, we're gonna have a little bit of a problem here. There are definitely more concerns if it is a knockdown and if it was a knockback. I think a knockback is safer in terms of CC progression, but it just also means that it's harder for Ronins to dish out damage and kill people when they're just simply knocked back. But regardless, bottom line, I think this is bottom line. Bottom line Ronins, we might see them come in for a really sneaky flank, and then all of your units are dead. So do not underestimate Ronins. And of course, if you have a shield, you don't have to care about them too much. They will still hurt, though. They will still hurt. Continuing on, we have the Drangus. Corrosive Venom. Really don't like the name, but who cares? We have throw blades when now poison enemy units, dealing 90 damage per second for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times when hitting polearm infantry, reduces their damage dealt by 15% for 5 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. That is insanity. I never actually figured out what the reducing damage is, and the whole thing was because I was not attacking the right unit. If this is true, and this actually works the way I think it does, because I know that the poison can stack up to dealing like 250 damage. It's not exactly 270, it's like a little bit lower. I don't know what kind of causes this, but like however they do the damage calculation, it's not going to be 90 exactly. It's closer to like 80, and you go up to like 250. That being said, if the damage reduction effect, if the damage dealt, the reducing damage dealt is stackable, that's 45%. You're doing almost half as less damage, and depending on like, oh man, the Zhang just the Jang, like, not only are polearm infantry already really vulnerable to range, the Jangjus are going to make you ineffective, which is kind of terrifying. But again, situational. You're still got a problem with ammo, so there's that. And I really, really think that the Jangjus are going to just be a ranged unit. No one's actually going to use their melee, even though it's actually pretty strong. I kind of discredited it a little bit after testing a little bit. They were kind of they were kind of good, but I wouldn't put it past you that I don't like the changes. The poison stacking, I don't like the debuff. It just makes them discount Rattans. The Rattans have a slow and damage dealt, damage debuff on their poison, and that's kind of like their whole gimmick because they have two gimmicks. So they have higher than average armor, lower than average health. They have the Rattan poison, and that kind of deal, which has a slow effect and a damage debuff effect. But regardless of any of that, whether or not we'll see these guys in tier 3, I think we're going to see the Junglers at the very least. Demachiates will probably see a brief look. The Ronins do have a capability of going out of control, and I definitely do think that the Ronins are more problematic because of how they're designed, but the Cudgel Monks should see a very good base performance much higher than these three. Mostly because when we're facing off against stuff like the Condottieri or the Prefecture Guards, those guys will trash all of these specials. Just from the sheer fact that like Condottieri will power shield bash you for like 3,000 damage to 2 targets, and like there's 30 of them. You're dead. Now onto the tier 5s. We have the Zhang Xuanjia, heavy cavalry, discipline assault, maximum number of targets reduced by 1. They had initially, okay, let me just go back. On PTR, before they were initially released, they had 12. Then it was reduced to 6, and somewhere in between it was changed to 8. They're changing 8 to 7. So it's going to be 7. Last time I checked, it's going to be 7 from the PTR. It's going to be 7. The damage is reduced by another 15%. Cool. They still lost like a quarter of their damage, and they're still going to be kind of top tier. They're now below. They're now below the Yanyud Owls in terms of like consistency play, but it's still going to be one of those cavalries where, in certain circumstances, they're going to go absolute crazy. Yanyud Owls still have some kind of higher limit. Zwanji Heavy Cavalry, however, it's a threshold kind of thing. They can just murder everyone as long as they don't hit anything too hard. What I mean by like don't hit anything too hard, I mean like they don't hit their own foot on an iron brick kind of thing, even though they'd probably cut through that iron brick like butter. They also see a leadership cost increase by 10. Sunward's Phalanx, Ares Flurry getting base cooldown increased by 10. Ares Flurry's damage is reduced by 10. Are we not going to see the Phalanx? Absolutely not. They're just going to lower the performance against infantry, and again, over performance against infantry is kind of like uh this is kind of like a non-factor change. They were really bad against infantry, but they were just too good and too adaptable that infantry just took so much damage trying to take them out. But again, these changes had no tangible effect on their actual performance, which is nominally really, really, really good against cavalry. And barely changed anything with like infantry wise. There's very obscure scenarios where it's just like in a in a bad situation or in a like unfavorable situation, you're still gonna get your ass kicked in a situation where the other guy plays badly and you play like a god, you're still going to get your ass kicked in, kind of deal. You're just trying to stay away from your enemies, make use of your range, and that's about it. The Ares Flurry is just a big burst of damage, and a lot of the stuff that kind of tries to want to get on top of you either has a shield that blocks most of your damage, or tries to use armor, which gets killed by the brace damage, not by Ares Flurry. Otherwise, like you can just stab things in the back and it will hurt. It's still burst damage and it's still pretty high, but it's not a game breaker, not a deal breaker. Spartan Chosen also not a deal breaker either. Even though Spartan Vengeance shield bash counterattack damage reduced by 15%, Spartan Vengeance jump attack damage at the end of the stance reduced by 15%. I don't like how they keep nerfing the jump attack damage. The jump attack damage, again, is very vital because it switches the unit from being a defensive, counter-offensive kind of thing into a full-on offensive unit. But I'm going to put it here lightly that a Tower Shield unit dealing a lot of damage and that's almost virtually unkillable and also has sustained heal, not a very good triangle. So you gotta get rid of one of those things. If you have damage, health, and if you have damage, defense, and healing, you're basically the RPG party trifecta in and of yourself. So not a good look. So they're gonna get rid of a bit more damage. Not going to change anything. Spartan's still going to be the tankiest, still going to be the toughest thing to kill, and of course they'll just wear you down. It's just going to be a little bit more inefficient, and in some scenarios against probably tougher things to kill that have CC immunity and damage will probably beat the shit out of you. But at scale, Spartans win because Spartans have a shield, and that shield is kind of bullshit. CC immunity plus shield makes you near invulnerable against anything that doesn't ignore your shield. And Spartan Vengeance is unblockable, so there's that. Not the jump attack though. Spartan Vengeance shield bashes are though. And if you want my opinion on things, let me just finish it up real quickly. Unit trait, Oath of Unity, base effect adjustment, the final share damage taken increased from 70 to 80. I don't know why they wrote it like this. I feel like they wrote it like this just to trick people, and they obviously had to. Yeah, it's really stupid. Final variancy node adjustment. The final shared damage taken increased from 50 to 60. So they took off 10%. So the bottom line one is going to be twice as effective now. Sorry. It's going to be about a third more effective than it was in the previous scenario. So go figure. Okay. If you want my opinion on the Zwanji Heavy Cavalry, they should have got rid of King of the Battlefield. King of the Battlefield is the one thing that is causing the most pain and literally the factor that is literally the thing that needs to be addressed. You, units cannot be made with on kill effects with cooldown reductions on skills that literally will just kill everything. If you're a unit that's capable of bursting down a unit, you're just basically going to be bursting down each unit in sequence, and it's just going to be hell. The Sunward's Phalanx is a really strong unit because of the length of their pikes. The thing that is the problem is that they have low performance against infantry and really, really high performance against cavalry. Their weakness is supposed to be their flanks and dead zone when you get on top of them. Problem is that it's impossible to flank them because they turn faster than you can run around them, and they can instantly brace, so they can always be in the brace state at a moment's notice. So they put a high amount of pressure, makes it impossible to flank them, and again, really, really adaptable, and that range is almost like it's an absolute advantage, which there is no real tenable way to deal with it. So if I wanted to fix or like if I was going to nerf Sunway's Phalanx, I'd get rid of the two main things. Instant brace is just kind of like a personal pet peeve, but the two things is turn rate. Either reduce that to 0 or um, or make it really, really slow. I mean, sorry. Either you can't turn or do it really slowly. Forte level. I know it killed the Forte, but like again, it should have just left the Forte as it is and not give them the turn rate and make them go out of control. And then I would kind of return a little bit of extra damage in their brace form, or at least in their attack form as well. So, I mean, again, the instant brace thing is also kind of like an exploit thing. When I said two things, I was thinking about the turn rate and the like. Realistically, I'm thinking about the turn rate and the instant brace. Those two things, you get rid of those things on the phalanx, or you nerf them somehow. Phalanx will be much easier to balance and much better unit overall in design. Spartan Chosen, obviously, you got the trifecta part. There are two ways you can just kill the unit straight away. Get rid of the healing and remove the CC immunity on the Spartan Vengeance. I know I keep saying CC immunity. Technically, what's actually happening is recovery. Every frame or every time they attack during Spartan Vengeance, they are actually in a recovery state, meaning that between attacks you can actually CC them, or between attacks you can do block break them. Problem is that the timing between them is so short that you would need a unit that has redonkulous or like instantly breaks them and deals damage in the same frame. So the only units that would technically do that are cavalry. They have such a high hit limit that they could probably hit the whole unit and block break them with one set and then deal damage with them on the other set. So again, there's not very many units that are capable of taking advantage of that small gap. You're just trying to use a unit that just has an insane amount of burst damage with a insane amount of luck break, and if you don't beat that time frame, you're screwed. So you get rid of that recovery, that CC immunity. The moment they get CC'd, they're screwed. Basically like an Imperial Pike Board. But that's the thing. You want to be able to use your CC on these units. You want to kind of be, you kind of want to just like, you don't want to just units just simply ignoring things, because Iron Reapers is a good example of how strong a unit can be, but it has drawbacks. It's really damn slow. It's not particularly great at any one thing. I mean, it doesn't actually deal that much damage. It's very tanky, but trust me, there are things that are tankier than an Iron Reaper. Or can be tankier than an Iron Reaper. There's definitely attacks that like an Iron Reaper like gets hit by it and you're just like, why is it taking so much damage? And then all of a sudden you're just like, this Modal has 20,000 armor and it's taking forever. I do like 200 damage to this thing. Design wise, all of these three units have a problem, which are not being addressed. They've gone in a different direction, and I wish they would take my advice on how to fix these things, but they don't, and it makes me sad. So hopefully that's enough of my ranting for now. We'll continue on and finish up the article. Optimize high angle projectile calculation for Shenji grenadiers and Lyconic javelins, making their trajectory more realistic and accurate. I like these things mostly because it is kind of a thing that is adjustable. Lyconic javelin is, I feel like, shouldn't have this feature. It realistically should have just stayed kind of like Shenji Grenadiers because the throw itself is not related to the power of the attack. The javelins are definitely related to the power of the attack. And when I throw it up in the air and it comes down on someone and it does 10,000 damage, I'm just like, yeah, that's bullshit. Because I do it over walls and stuff. And yeah, I've caught so many heroes with that. It's like really funny. Yep, small hills, starts raining about. So they just kind of fix elevation issues. So this is a kind of scenario where the obstacle in front of them is just they don't dynamically measure the obstacle in front of them. They just they have a default reversal where obstacle in front of them is yay there is an obstacle in front of them, so they'll um, toss them at maximum height. So it's kind of like a default behavior. So they just kind of fix it where it's just like, oh, we're going to kind of like curve a little bit less than just go yeet over. But again, it's a quality of life thing, and I do hope that they improve trajectories more. I do think that it would be better if they just took like the direct approach and just had one angle. I do think that like abusing abusing the high arc throws is not fun to deal with and is just it's kind of like a thing where people who take advantage of these things just like are kind of abusing game mechanics. I know they built it. I know these mechanics are literally built into them, but like there are definitely people who are smart enough to get away with javelin throws over walls. People have figured out a lot of Zycelium militia throws. Like there are so many ways people can kind of get trajectory right, which deserve to be rewarded by them just being able to do it. But instead, we have these units that just do it by default, and it feels bad when like the intended gameplay is shifting away from generic and kind of into the niche. Because these high projectile things, all of it's very niche. No one's going to use the Shenji Grenadiers or the Lycanic Javelins. Well, I'm not going to say no one, but you'll see a lot of less people use them generically. And this is really classic for Shenji Grenadiers. You see them on the walls all the time, just raining down grenades, especially on Hidden City. There's like, last time I was on Hidden City, there was a dozen Shenji trying to bomb the enemy. Last time I was on Sun City, there was three Shenji, one Zycanian militia, all trying to throw at the supply point. When you make a gameplay like that, it's just really bad. And they need to fix these things or find a way to make them less annoying to fight against and to fight with. But regardless, um, I do think that like they're not going to remove this ever. So I feel like I want to say something, but let's just finish it up. Bug fix. Fix an issue where the yellow dot on weekly tasks sometimes did not disappear. Fix a text description error in the duration of Aries Slurry for Sunward's Phalanx, which did not affect actual gameplay, fixed an issue where the final redundancy node of Spartan Chosen caused an abnormal duration of Oath of Unity during No Mercy. Ah, I really like that. The fact that um, basically what would happen is that um, the Oath of Unity would have like a prolonged effect as long as you're changing formations. If you use No Mercy recently, so like while they're in formation, they would have Oath of Unity, and it was really cool because they were just really, really tough to kill. Fixed an issue where the junglers sometimes had an incorrect attack target number during free attacks. Again, I would have kept that mostly because I wanted it buffed anyway, but we don't know if it's melee attack or whether or not it's the dagger attack, so who knows. Optimize the issue where the client sometimes remained in a stop state in Steam after closing the game. Huh. That would be amazing. Fixing that would be amazing. Because it's really annoying where it's just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna have to stop the game for some reason because it's still going. Optimize the display shadow quality of certain game interfaces. Fix an issue where some weather effects were not displayed in eagle-eye view during battle. Probably like sandstorm kind of thing. A new field battle map will be added mid-season. Stay tuned. I like field battles. I really do think that field battles should have been the preferred one. So did I go through this one? No, I did not go through this one. Oh man, that was just the first article. There's three of these. All right. Maintenance is probably ongoing and probably going to go on for another 10 hours, but APAC March 20th, 0 hours, 15 to 1500 hours, UTC plus 8. We got EU and AMS March 19th, 1700 to March 20th, 800, UTC plus 1. Maintenance expected to be 15 hours, expected to be longer. Bronze coins, 35,000. Honor, 1500. Unit metal times 75 as compensation. First wave. Free doctrine removal. During the period, removal of any doctrines will not consume Lotus water. Warlords can freely experiment with different setup. 22nd. So 0 hours on the 22nd, all the way to 0 hours on the 24th. So it's going to be the weekend event. Sorry. New season bonus. Second wave. Unlock battle pass and get a leadership reduced doctrine. A leadership reduced doctrine. What the heck? Sign in during the event. Get the 7 days volunteer unit contract times 1 blessing time 7 day times 1. Complete 7 day login quests to unlock additional rewards. Seasonal rare doctrine selection. If you unlock the Silla battle pass during the event, you will receive an extra time limited epic leadership doctrine. Reduces leadership unit leadership cost by 16%. This doctrine is available during the new season, expiring after the season ends, and can be removed for free, but cannot be used for doctrine alchemy or other consumption actions. If you have pre-ordered the Sealer Battle Pass, you will receive the same rewards when the season begins. March 20th, after maintenance to next new season. Third wave, free trial of legendary attires. Participate in siege battlefield battles for a chance to obtain 12-hour limited a 12-hour limited random legendary attire chest. Opening the chest grants a 12-hour limited legendary attire, including the Draconic Fatalis, Angelic Duality, the Inner Flames, Onibi Tenmu, and more. A maximum of two 12-hour limited random legendary attire chests can be acquired every day, and the acquisition limit will reset at 0 hours each day. Event time is March 20th, after maintenance, April 2nd, 0 hours, so you got a week. Really do like the Onibi Tenmu version. It used to be called the Imperial Imperial Officer uniform, I believe. Angelic Duality. I don't like the duality. And the Akuma's Claw. Really hate the fire effect. It is like. Then again, a lot of the legendary effects are really, really painful on the eyes. So yeah, that's just probably me. Seasonal unit pre-order open. Exclusive avatar and discount coupon await. 4-star Tiger's Fist deluxe pre-order pack. Tiger's Fist exclusive avatar Tiger's Power. 10% discount coupon times 2. Tradable. I don't know why it's tradable. That's just really confusing. Unlocks on March 31st. So that's when the Tiger's Fist will unlock. So 1 week or like 10 days from now or something. Obviously, this event only goes from March 20th to after maintenance to March 31st. So on the day of the release, so you got 12 hours. Like, yeah. 5-star Hurong Deluxe pre-order pack includes Hurong token times 7, exclusive hero avatar Hurongdo times 1, 20% store discount coupon times 2. I don't know why they specify it's tradable again. Unlocks on April 14th. 2025. Whoa, what? Locks on the 14th, but the event only goes from March 20th after maintenance to April 2nd before maintenance. So they're trying to get you to pay early. I hope no one buys these things, by the way. Um if you do, again, I can't technically stop you, but I just want to express big disappointment in kind of how aggressive they are trying to be with monetization. And I feel like I wish for a better game rather than all of these small things that just whittle away at my sanity. Maybe I've been talking for too long. Maybe I played too long. Antique attire chest rotation. New arrivals in the exchange shop. So we have the Scorpio sealed tires and the Nightfall being. So sorry, they are removing the Scorpio season sealed tires and adding the Nightfall season sealed tires to the antique attire chest. After maintenance, new attires will be available in the G attire chain exchange shop. Grand Master attire set sealed. Grey Cloak Zealot attire set sealed. The Brilliant Adjudication sealed. So it goes from March 20th after maintenance to the new season before maintenance. Doctrine and Spirit limited purchase reset and new doctrines in the Electric Doctrine selection. The limited purchase quantity for the Epic Leadership Doctrine has been reset with a maximum exchange limit of 1. Epic Impale Doctrine is added into the Doctrine selection chest. This Doctrine, they have not fixed the issue with Pavis and the Demez Arbalest both being affected because of the introduction of the Epic Impale Doctrine, where they reduce the penetration effect to 35. Sorry, where it increased the damage loss per penetration target to 65%. When and this is really hilarious because before this doctrine was added, Demez Arbalest would deal 100, then 50. Now it will deal, without this doctrine, by the way, it will deal 135. If you add this doctrine, it deals 100, 35, and then 5. Minimum damage on that third target. Pavies are a little bit special, but it is still very much worse. It used to deal 100, 70, then 40. Now it's, and do mind, they actually have 4. They hit 4, so it actually goes. Um, oh man, did they increase it back? I forget. It's supposedly supposed to go 100, 70, 30, 20 because they have a minimum or a maximum attenuation of 80%. They Now, right now, it is 135-20. Wow. Somehow, rather, it's also really funny. Pavis also shoot faster while they're in shield mode. Technically, they're also supposed to drop one target, so one penetration target, so it's not much of a loss. Anyway, I hate the Epic Impale Doctrine anyway, and its introduction only made Better Crosswomen way too good. So take that as you will. So the Epic Impale Doctrine, quality epic. Applicable unit, Pavis Crossbowman, Demez Arbalist, Demez Crossbowman, Feathered Crossbowman, allows heavy crossbow units to pierce one additional target when attacking. How to obtain the Doctrine selection box. Reaching level 100 in the current season free battle pass grants 1 Doctrine Spirit. Completing the 5th stage of the current season's 5-star unit challenge grants 1 Doctrine Spirit. Event time, March 20th after maintenance to new season, next new season before maintenance. Attire chest rotation. The Lion's Flame and the Eternal Night attire chests are now available. The legendary Mole attire Flame of the Nemean Lion and the legendary Mount attire Eternum, I'm going to say Eternum, are embracing a limited time return. Where? The hecka? Oh, okay. So this is special limited time. This is the actual chest being available in the G thing. Yep, okay. Progression pack seasonal challenge bundle rotation. Available packs hand-picked Eastern season unit pack token includes token for Namcan archers, token for Crescent monk, token for Ona Onamusha. Handpicked Western Season Unit Pack 1, including token for Janissaries, token for Berserkers, token for Mermilones. Handpicked Western Season Unit Pack 2 includes token for Condottieri Guards, token for Samachian Paladins, token for Kriegsbrothers. Limited time purchase. Limited purchase time is March 20th after maintenance to April 17th before maintenance. So almost a month. I feel like these used to be bugged, where it would actually only give you one, but don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that. And finally, March 20th, unit balance adjustments and free doctrine removal events. We've probably gone through all of this, but here is their justification. Recently, we have received a lot of feedback from warlords regarding Spartan Chosen. I can't believe they're saying that. We have been closely monitoring the performance of this unit on the battlefield. Additionally, we have also received balance-related feedback regarding Zanjia Heavy Cavalry and the Sunward's Phalanx. Wow, it only took you about a season to figure that out. We highly value the opinions of our warlords and have conducted multiple rounds of internal product discussion. Wow, just laying it out in front of us saying that these units are products. You don't have any passion for this game, and it just really shows that you don't value our opinions at all, and you're just trying to sell us a product. Wow, thank you. Conqueror's Blade now features 120 plus units from diverse cultures and backgrounds. Yes, doesn't mean you can't balance this if you were to actually interested in your game, but you're trying to make every single unit very unique. Or you have no idea how to make every single unit unique and respect each of their backgrounds and culture without just doing nothing. I don't know. I'm just ranting for the sake of ranting. I don't even know what I just said. Along with various map and artilleries. You added 2 artilleries, the Great Bombard and the Divine Crow. That needs to be deleted, by the way. Bombard doesn't even actually exist because no one fucking sees it. Well, I mean, like, you do see it, but it's very rare. Maintaining a dynamic balance in the battlefield ecosystem is a challenging task. No, it's not. You're just not trying. And I know you're not trying because you're deliberately making sure that the balance um is as asymmetrical as could possibly be because each unit is so ungodly unique that we don't even understand all of their bonuses and effects. My goodness, there's so many hidden bonuses and effects in the game that I remember from patch notes that are still present, and it's just like you didn't realize that this was happening. Like, why? Just for instance, the bonus buff for the men at arms and the spirit sergeants, by the way, are not seen anywhere in game as part of their description. But we know the buff exists, and we know that is 15% damage and 30% defense, I believe. And it decays really rapidly. But that's the thing. No one knows what the hell it is if you were just to go off of the information in game. So at you're just really bad at making a game right now. And it's not challenging because you're not trying. Or there's only one person working on this and it's literally too much work for that one person. So yeah, that could be it as well. I have no doubt that they probably have a lot of loopholes they have to go through, but my goodness. You give me a month. I could balance this game to a T. No one's gonna like it though, except me. Oh, sorry, I take that back. No one's gonna like it, including me, because even if I balance this game, I'll still hate it. And I have no doubt that if they just decided to actually try, there could be a better game. Anyway, let's just finish this article so we can close this video up because it's about an hour and 20 minutes now. General adjustment approach. Our unit balance design revolves around balance, strategic depth, and player experience. Unfortunately, it's just all player experience. There is no balance, there is no strategic depth, and literally no strategic depth because you don't understand how strategic depth work. You cannot create depth by having pre-selection, by having units be pre-selected as a God, how to explain? There is no strategic depth when people select units as a warband. Because once the warband is selected, you are you are not creating depth. You are structured into that warband, and you can't easily swap out these units. The only thing here is that in a team setting, you can allocate resource or you can allocate people for roles in a and that is a level of strategic depth that is on a team setting. But my goodness, you, you're a real idiot if you think making counter units is adding strategic depth. No, I don't want to run the same three units because those are the three most likely or the strongest units of those categories, so we're just going to go around in circles. That's not strategic depth. Every single unit, every single unit needs to have its own pros and cons. The strategic depth is how you use that unit, not in which unit you select. Because you can't dictate a game based on pre-selection of units and call that strategic depth. Man, I ranted about this in like a different game called Dawn of War 3, where they had this like doctrine system. They also had a system called the doctrine system, but like basically you would pick a bunch of passives before you start a match, and this would literally dictate how your play style is. oh, this adds strategic depth. No, it fucking doesn't. Because these are selected before the match starts. And this pigeonholes you into a very particular playstyle, depending on which units you use. So it's just like the units themselves create strategic depth, not the selection of the unit, if that makes sense. And I have no doubt that the player experience is paramount. They want the player experience to be absolutely crazy. They want to see people or players get hundreds of kills with just the press of a button, because that's what it was like. You got a good charge, you got 100 kills. No doubt you could probably have a unit and get 100 kills now. There is no doubt in my mind that the people they're catering to are those that are sweaty and abusing their teams, getting those magnificent flanks, going for the easy kills, going up against going up against those players that are just like, I have a unit that literally cannot do anything against you, and I'm about to get rolled. So ensuring a healthy battlefield ecosystem through continuous optimization, absolute zero care about a healthy battlefield ecosystem, because a healthy battlefield ecosystem relies, okay, maybe it is healthy in their eyes, but how I see it is that the continuous optimization is really slow. You're so slow, especially after the releases or after changes. Like, changes should never be this slow. Impact of certain changes should never be slow. You definitely had changes that did not go through the PTR and hit live, and you still acted really slow on them and just thought it was just fine. I feel like I shouldn't fault you on being slow. Maybe you just don't have the resources. Maybe you don't have the capabilities of doing or like going through the process every single time. But I feel like you shouldn't throw all of your players under the bus because of your mistakes. You can definitely fault the players for like finding or exploiting an exploit, because like instant brace, definitely an exploit, and like what was it? The stalwarts had a particular exploit where during their advance you can long V them and they would stay in their advanced state, meaning that they would be like tick 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 tick, deal tick damage basically. They fixed that before anyone on live actually used it. Like, that's the kind of speed I'm talking about. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure not. I'm pretty sure most of the community doesn't even know what the hell I'm talking about, because these are the kinds of things where it's just like, oh, okay. By fine-tuning unit stats, skill mechanics, roles, we attempt to ensure that units of different levels and types have their own advantages and disadvantages on the battlefield. Oh my god. I feel like I want to just call them out on everything, and it's just like, ugh. Fine tuning of unit stats. First of all, you don't know how to fine tune cavalry, so there's no way you can fine tune stats on the tier threes. And I'll tell you right now, you can, because they're all dog shit, because they're half unit sizes and they're dealing as much damage, or they're dealing as much damage and tanking as much damage as any of the generic full-sized units. Like, they're up against a condottieri, they're up against a prefecture guard. That's a 30 and 28 size unit. I mean, like, prefecture guards can go to 32, I think. But seriously, what kind of nightmare is it to just figure out that this unit has a hit limit of 2, deals 3,000 damage, and there's 30 of them. That means your unit of 15 needs to deal 2 times 3 times 30,000 damage as a competitor. Just to be competitive. I haven't even gone into the calculations for the tankiness, for the raw tankiness of such a unit. And that's just simple math. Very simple math. The actual effect in game and how things work out, probably going to be completely different. But it is not hard to get to that step, to get that level of fine tuning. Skill mechanics, you're also an idiot because you definitely have just decided we kind of like it when certain skills just don't fail. Like, seriously. They have so many skills that are just like, oh, this skill deals CC. So it's just about who hits first. We don't like that kind of gameplay, so we're just gonna make it CC immune. Every single time you have a skill that basically is CC immune and deals CC and deals damage, you're just overloading the skill like crazy. So you either need to step back and actually figure out how these skills are supposed to work. My goodness, I was surprised that the Machietis did not get an additional CC on their skills, which is surprising because just like the Ronins got a CC on their skills, and they got two things, but like they are definitely going to be a little bit scary to deal with. Hmm. Buffing 3-star units that underperform compared to design expectation. I'm sorry, design expectation? The Jiangzuos, you basically shoved in a whole brand new design. You basically made them rattan. You basically made them uh, rattan light. The design for the Jiangzuos was for you to use their daggers and to go into melee. No one does that. They just throw daggers because it's the most optimal way to play them because they're slightly less tanky than generic units, and also range is just OP. So if I can just throw daggers at someone for free, I don't need to do shit. I don't need to sacrifice my unit to go into melee. Optimizing, God, man, just adjusting units that do not meet intended design goals. Optimizing low pick rate units to improve their battlefield presence. Okay, I don't see any optimizations besides you just straight up buffing them, because if we're going to talk about optimization, the heck with the Ronins, that like their optimization would literally be is the is how their charge functions. It's so slow. Their Ido strike is also so slow. It has a whole sheath and then attack phase. At some point, if you were going to actually optimize I mean, like if you're going to optimize something, you would literally just have it so that Ronins don't have a sheath or delay and literally just go bam, just go whack. Forget about actually sheathing it, just have the animation just go straight into an attack. Because it's just idiotic to have that delay, especially since we got so many units that do not have such a long delay. And not to mention the finishing delay, like they pose there for like a whole half second, and I'm just like, the heck are you doing? Also, you want to know about posing? The Machiaris love to backflip and then just stare at you for that quarter of a second, and they do it a lot. Demachi areas are very janky. They're supposed to move a lot as well. They're supposed to jump in and out of the battle, and it's like, oh wow. The fluidity of their attacks as well don't connect very well, especially when you're watching their Zca's torrent. It feels like there should just be watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. But no, it's like ha 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 ha. I mean, like it's not as bad as like when you were 4, where they would like pause a whole minute. It feels like they would pause for a whole minute, but like yeah, there's ways to optimize this game, but I feel like you're not doing it. Targeted optimization aligning with design and player feedback. Adjustments are made based on a unit's intended role and real battlefield performance. Okay. I feel like there's a disconnect here because real battlefield performance and intended role feels like it's completely not what you think. Because there's definitely an intended role for things, and there's definitely a difference between how people actually use them. I don't think you're supposed to be charging Ronins into archers. You're supposed to be using Ronins to actually charge into other melee units because that's the most likely unit you're going to run into. Like every unit can flank, but you don't design units to just be flanking units. Fenris is a really good example. Like they're really good against ranged units, and it makes sense that they have bonuses for like range resistance, but it's just really stupid that you would ever actually just use them just to go after archers. You use them for the majority of the time to attack other melee units. The fact that their prowl thing is really good, gives them range resistance just makes sense. However, it doesn't make sense that your charge your charge into range unit makes you deal sorry, the charge on the Ronin have an 80% range damage resistance when in reality you're still charging like an idiot and you should just get shot because there's no difference. There should be no difference between an idiot running at you and a pikeman running at you. There's like I have like prefecture pikemen. You see that charge coming my way, I've used archers and I've shot them to death before they even reached me. Now, you're going to tell me that you made it so that, oh, Ronins are the ones that are going to be like, I'm gonna soak up so much damage while charging at you. Every single one of these buckler units can literally charge while blocking, so they take 0 damage. Okay, I'm just going to just I'm gonna have a meltdown reading this. Enhancing functionality when necessary, optimizing control and survivability, improving unit synergy and unit interactions. Skill interactions. Skill interactions? Okay. Machietis, I can kind of see that. I feel like they didn't intend for it, but I feel like they did at the same time because there's definitely no way that they haven't figured out that you can cancel that backflip 2-second CC immunity and use it for your stupid ass leap tag. So. Data-driven and periodic iteration. We actively monitor game data, battlefield recordings, and player feedbacks to quickly address. Okay, quickly? Nah, not in hell is it quickly. You want quickly? Every 2 weeks. Sorry, every week there should be a PTR. The week after should be a release of what the PTR has. Well, every week there should be a PTR. The week after should have the release of changes that are good to go. You should never be in a state where changes aren't happening because it's impossible to not want to change something. But you don't change anything, so you're definitely doing these things deliberately. So quickly address balance issue is not fair because you have a balance issue throughout the entirety of your game. And it goes from top down. You have units that are way too weak, units that are way too strong, and you have no middle ground because the middle ground that we think should exist doesn't exist because there's so many layers. So many layers. My goodness, if I want to talk about layers, like, I still can't get over the fact that Huskulls don't block while they charge. Like, every single buckler unit blocks while they charge, but Huskulls, no! They have a big fat ass shield, and it's just like, nah, I'm not gonna block anything. Oh, and I mean, ugh, regular adjustments to underused units. I'll see it, and then I'll believe it. But regular adjustment of underused units, we get two major balance changes per season, and then everything else is just around those major balance changes. We don't even get the small balance changes where it's a numbers tweak. Like you could definitely data check the entirety of your unit list and then adjust leadership according to their battlefield performance. Like, it is that easy to do a numbers check, but you don't do it. Ensuring changes do not disrupt fairness. What? Okay, that's a really subjective statement. Like, what is fairness? Do not disrupt fairness. The only way I can see that is that it's about units that are paid versus units that are free. Units that are easy to get versus units that are paid, disrupting that fairness is a divide where you can't make units that are free really strong, and leave them strong, while seasonal units that have okay, no, I mean, so I feel like I'm painting you as a very bad person, but that sentence is does should never come up. Fairness doesn't matter. Fairness doesn't matter. The only fairness is that you balance the issue, not based on fairness, because that fairness is so subjective that I feel like you're deliberately gaslighting me into helping you justify that seasonal units are stronger on average. Most importantly, we highly value Warlord's feedback. No, you don't. On unit balance adjustments, absolutely not. You guys do not you do not value Warlord's feedbacks nor suggestion. You just take the general. You just take the general. You just take the general. You take the general vibe of how the players feel about something and then do something about it in your own way. And a lot of it is a nothing burger. The companions are nothing burger. Every single time. It's just like you need to change something, you need to fix something, and you're just going to do nothing about it. The Men at Arms was the same. The negative damage against heroes, nothing burger, because what they were doing was not a problem against heroes. What they were doing was burst damaging everyone down while being also invincible. I don't. Okay, like maybe I'm just one where it's just like I don't care if my hero gets beaten to shit because it was the same with the paladins. I didn't care about getting staggered every 2 seconds because I've literally played with paladins for the longest times where their shield bash counterattack would stagger me, and that's been a thing forever, and they had to get rid of it. Really pissed about that still. How to avoid overpowered and overnerfed. No, you do not avoid. You cannot avoid. Because the point is that overpowered and overnerfed, you don't understand how to design units so you have overpowered units that stay overpowered but are statistically inefficient. It's just how everything goes. Overnerfed, that's like ah. Before launching new units or balance changes, we conduct multiple rounds of numerical validations and iterative testing. I feel like that's bullshit because you're obviously not doing it correctly or not doing it in a way where it's consistent. For adjustment to popular units or major version updates, we also open a PTR test for warlords to test with us. Absolutely, absolutely need more PTR tests. You need to stop doing changes. You need to give us chances to actually test the changes before you actually implement them, because there's a bunch of times where you had the PTR test and then you did a bunch of changes and then just released the damn thing. Your feedback is crucial to our balance adjustment. No, it's not. You're not been listening to everyone. You're definitely not listening to me. And I mean, like, I'm just one person, but I feel like you should listen to me. We do not want overpowered dominant units. Bullshit. You definitely do want overpowered units because cavalry have definitely been a problem, and you have refused to fix it. And every single player has fallen into that trap. Why not just use Polar? Just use Pike. That is not fixing the issue. The issue is that cavalry still overperform when you put in a generic scenario. Nor do we want previously nerfed units to become unusable. That's bullshit as well, because you have dominant units and everything, and all the units that well, all the units are automatically nerfed because they're not as strong as the dominant unit. So you automatically make things redundant. And that's the really stupid thing. You made counters on purpose. So you can justify units being strong in a certain way. And I feel like um, the the Spartans were changed to deliberately be strong against everyone. Well, infantry. Or it's just like, I mean, feel everything feels deliberate. Like there's no way you did these changes because because I particularly mentioned certain things that you should not do, and you do them anyway. The more feedback we receive, the better we can refine unit balance. Your voice shapes the battlefield. Again, lip service, not true, because the feedback that you are receiving takes either too long for you to respond, or you do not listening to the voices that you are not listening to the voices because there are okay, maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. Maybe you are reading the feedback, but you are definitely not going along with the suggestions. And I can definitely agree that there are definitely ridiculous amount of suggestions that could happen. But let's be honest as well. There are way too many simple things that can be adjusted that just makes no sense in how you deal with those things. Like, example, it took you almost a year to figure out that medalls had a hit limit issue. And I explained this literally after they were released, that they are actually weaker than halberdiers, even though they were bloody hell bloody hell OP during their season. It was because it slowed down the battlefield. Now, the problem is that like medalls were just really tanky and just really difficult to deal with back in the Dynasty season, but halberdiers would um, end a battle much faster. So what you ended up with was a unit that would slow roll things while it would be inefficient to actually use it in a context for either a halberdier unit or as a tank unit. And it's just like, So why is this? So why is this unit so popular? It's just like it's because you're dealing. It's because you have a unit that should be a pole should be working like a halberdier, dealing 5 times damage every time someone runs into it. Also, they took like basically no damage. Oh man, you could still fix medals. You could literally increase their basic damage by 50%, cap their stupid ass brace bonus at probably 2 times. Okay, now make it 3 times, and you would be fine. You would actually be fine with the medals. Oh, I mean, like, not fine, but maybe they would start going out of control. But ugh, ugh. Balance adjustments. We will implement unit balance adjustments after maintenance on March 20th. Blah 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 blah. Oh man. For this update, unit Spartan Chosen, Zanji Heavy Cavalry, and Sunwood's Phalanx have received some downwards adjustment. You would like to share our, we would like to share our thought process with our warlords. Well, it took you long enough. Spartan Chosen. The primary role of Spartan Chosen on the battlefield is that of a tower shield unit. Bullshit. With warrior capabilities as a secondary function. We aim for them to embody the defensive resilience of the Spartan warriors in history. Bullshit. Holding their shields firm against enemy advances and creating opportunities for their allies to counterattack. Bullshit. You don't create opportunities of counterattacking when you are the counterattack. However, due to their unit trait, their damage absorption has exceeded expectations. I'm sorry. It's not that their damage absorption has exceeded expectation. It's the heal that literally. Oh my god. It's the heal. It's the heal. The damage absorption is actually not that bad. It is the heal and the efficiency of the heal that makes them go out of control. If you were to remove the heal, they are actually barely tanky enough. And I kid you not when I say barely tanky enough. They are, when to say in a very loose way, statistically, the Spartan chosen without the heal would trade with a lot of the meta stuff. You wouldn't win, you would trade. And especially against the units that were supposedly good against you, you would trade down. And they kind of win against the stuff that is good against them because they can bullshit their way through the damage with the heal. It is the heal that makes everything so goddamn irritating. I mean, like, just think about it. 4% heal? That's not a lot, right? They maybe hit 10, 20 units. Every time they hit someone, they get a 4% heal. Over the course of a very short battle, they might attack 10, 20 times. That means you need to kill 40 or 80% or deal 40 or 80% more damage to a unit that literally has, like, the heal itself creates so much value that in order to kill this unit, you're basically killing 2 units. That's that's what I want to say. It's like you've created a scenario where the Spartan Chosen have a set of stats that is basically about, well, I mean, it's a bit over, but it's basically about as tanky as you can be for the damage they deal, but then all of a sudden, I'm just going to make them 80% more tankier. In order to kill that unit, I need to deal twice the amount of damage to a unit, to one unit, in order to kill this unit. You either deal damage so quickly that you kill the unit before they can heal, or you deal enough damage that you kill 2 units before they kill you. And it's so stupid because it's just like you know exactly what the problem is, or either you're stupid and you don't know what the problem is, but I keep telling you it's the goddamn heal. That and the CC immunity plus block bullshit. Dodgy heavy cavalry. The single-use target count. I'm sorry, what? The single-use target count for Disciplined Assault was too high, and the charge acceleration effect further boosted its total damage out. You, oh my god, they have a passive where when they're at high speed, they deal extra damage. You knew what you were doing. Allowing it to clear battlefields too efficiently. Additionally, oh my god, they actually said this. Additionally, Discipline Assault and Thunder Charge can refresh each other, creating high uptime and reducing their damage downtime compared to other charge type cavalry with even higher leadership costs. Given these factors, we decided to make some adjustments. They know that it was the re oh my god, they know it's because of the cooldown reduction that the uptime made them incredibly efficient when they reached the threshold for kills because it just kept resetting. God. The adjustment that they did reduced their damage output by 25%. You're just creating an inefficiency when your design of your unit is causing the problem. Oh, of course. The Sunward's Phalanx is, again, such a stupid. It's a pitfall, honestly. Sunward's Phalanx, the intended battlefield role of Sunward's Phalanx is anti-cavalry, but Ares Flurry had an overwhelming a high uptime. What? But Ares Flurry had an overwhelmingly high uptime, allowing it to suppress. Whoa. Okay, hang on. I need to break that sentence. But Ares Flurry had a surprisingly high uptime, allowing it to suppress both cavalry and melee infantry beyond our original design. I don't know. I don't know, Chief. That that that's a lie because Ares Flurry was definitely intended to be a burst burst style ability. The low cooldown was your fault, of course, but it's just like, dude, there's so much burst in the game. Like the high uptime doesn't matter. It's because you or either you don't understand that their range gives them a massive ass advantage because they work like ranged units more than they work like ranged unit more than the traditional melee unit. Additionally, since the unit carries a small buckler, it also has some defense capabilities against ranged unit. Yeah, no, you built it that way, but the block only works on one side, making it highly versatile and effective in nearly any combat scenario. Yes, it's versatile. It's effective in any combat scenario because you made it so that you can't flank the damn thing. This exceeded our intended design scope, so we have made small adjustments to Ares Flurry by increasing its cooldown and slightly reducing its damage. These changes will not impact its anti-cavalry effectiveness, but they will slightly reduce its pressure on melee infantry. Doesn't matter because its actual performance doesn't change. Ares Flurry was not the cause of Sunward's Phalanx dominance. Ah, God. It literally. I wish they would talk with us a bit more so I can explain that they're an idiot and that they're stupid. And everything that's written here literally makes me feel like they're they're gaslighting me and doing these changes, saying that they do stuff. It's like you don't it's like you're deliberately dodging the main issues in order to keep the units as they are without doing anything to fix your game, balance it, or to make a healthier game environment. Anyway, that's just a repeat on everything that we have read so far, but I do hope that you guys enjoyed the video. It's just a 2-hour video, and I'm pretty sure I just spent the last half hour of it ranting because with any balance changes, I feel like I want to say a lot, but most of it is pointless because it's just a general discussion with fellow players. I feel like players need to voice their disapproval on changes more. Otherwise, it feels like these people will never learn. And I feel like we're at a point where it is, well, we've always been at that point, but I feel like I'm at that point where simply not doing the obvious is hurting hurting their, well, they didn't really have much of a reputation, but it's hurting me because I want this game to be as good as possible, but it refuses to do the things that I think that would help it, especially with balancing. Because gameplay, for me, has always been the main issue, main problems that needs to be fixed before I can ever recommend CB, because I will tell you right now that I will never recommend CB to a new player, especially one that wants to get into the end game, because you shouldn't waste your time on a game that will treat you poorly and is completely unbalanced. But I still follow it. I still check up on these, and I still will do these updates. But I'm smoking so much copium that I probably won't stop playing this game. So I just hope it will change, and I can only dream that I'm just one player shouting into a void. I'm pretty sure there's very many people, and I'm pretty sure I know Lazy seriously doesn't like my opinion on things, but I feel like I want this game to be good, not just for me, but for other people. So I hope I hope there'll be a day where more people can play Conqueror's Blade, or a game like Conqueror's Blade kind of appears out of nowhere. But anyway, that is the 3 articles for the Silla season. I hope you guys didn't get bored with me yapping so much. But other than that, I hope you guys. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Ah, let me try again. Other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. But other than that, my name's Sasuke. Have a nice day. Bye for now.